My clients bought this cottage a couple of years ago, and they called me in after they'd had it for about a year because they wanted to refresh the kitchen. It was fine, it was working, but it didn't feel that clean. It wasn't as up to date as they were hoping. So we just wanted to do a little refresh, clean it up so that they could enjoy it a little bit more. This was definitely a project on a budget, so they started doing the demo on their own. And unfortunately, they kept uncovering disaster after disaster when they were doing the demo. I was getting emails about the ants have eaten the subfloor, we can put our foot through it. We opened up the wall and it's full of water, it's all rotted. I mean, it was just a bit of a disaster. These things happen when you start renovating. You never know what's going to be behind a wall until you open it up. So it was a lemons to lemonade situation. The subfloor had to be completely removed, and they replaced it with a product called Blue Wood, and it's actually a treated plywood subfloor. No insect is going to feast on, it's impervious to water damage, it's a fantastic substrate, and since everything was already open in order to change out the subfloor and replace drywall, they decided to spray foam the entire interior so that they were going to be insulated 4 seasons. So, all that remediation got taken care of, and we were able to get back on track and tackle the kitchen. We had always intended to replace the ceiling and the flooring because they were really dated and gross. Because it's a country property, we went with a bit of a rustic look, so we did these nice wide 8-inch white oak planks from Gaylord hardwood. I think they really open up the space with a nice length in the run. And then we mirrored that with this tongue and groove detail on the ceiling. I think this makes for a good example of a medium-sized, reasonably priced kitchen reno. The intention had never been that this was going to be a big budget splash out on the kitchen, but obviously we really needed to focus on keeping this quite a budget-friendly, cheerful, crisp refresh. The layout in the kitchen needed to be tweaked a little bit. We also wanted to open the connection between the kitchen and the rest of the cottage because it's not a huge space, so opening up that flow was nice. We ended up going with big box cabinets, and to be honest, didn't do a lot of customization there. We kept it white because that means it's not going to go in or out of trend. We did a shaker detail on the front, and really the only thing we did was drop a little bit of a bulkhead so they're just not floating in space. We just kept it as simple as we could with the cabinetry. There isn't a ton of backsplash in this kitchen. We just opted to keep it simple, did a nice white subway tile, and I think it's fresh and it just kind of disappears and opens the space. If this was just a place that they were using, on weekends and a little bit in the summer, we might have opted for a laminate countertop. But once they turned it into a 4 seasons getaway, we decided to spend a little bit more on the counters and bring character in with this nice mid-tone butcher block. I think it matches really nicely with the floor, brings in some character, but at the same time, it's still a cost savings over a quartz or a natural stone. One area where I think it's important to spend a little bit of money is on your plumbing fixtures, because those are going to be the things that take a lot of wear and tear in a kitchen. In this case, the client opted for something called a sill granite sink, and they were actually able to find a deal on the sink and matching faucet on Wayfair, so they saved a little bit of money there. And then we chose to continue the hits of black in the space through the hardware and the light fixture on the ceiling, and then we painted out that nice glass door. Even though it was a rough process, I brought in the dog pun. I didn't even mean to. At the end of the day, costs of renovations can really add up. I think it's important to start with some good planning, decide where you're going to spend money on the pieces that need to be invested in, and then think about where you're ready to save. The clients are really happy with how everything turned out, and they're able to enjoy the space all year round.